Hola, it's Allie from NurseGoneCrunchy.com. I help mamas balance their hormones, lose the baby weight, and finally feel vital again. Because being a mom does not mean that you have to feel like crap. And every day I have people ask me, Allie, what is the best diet? What diet should I follow to lose weight and balance my hormones? And the short answer is, there isn't one. Everybody is different. However, there are 10 indisputable truths that I have found to apply to every single person I have worked with, and I can assure you that other people who I've spoken to in the same space completely agree. So stay tuned, we're gonna dive right in and talk about those 10 truths. Truth number 1. Focus on vegetables. You want to eat about a pound of vegetables a day. And I know that sounds like a lot, but trust me, it's really doable. I have vegetables with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I make sure to eat all different colors of vegetables and different types. This is amazing. The fiber is helpful to keep us regular, but also it feeds our microbiome. So eat lots of vegetables. Truth number 2 is focus on high quality protein at each and every meal. The reason that we're doing this is it helps to keep our blood sugar balanced. If you're trying to balance your hormones and your blood sugar is out of whack, you are fighting a battle that you cannot win. So make sure to have high quality protein with each meal. This could be eggs, grass-fed beef and lamb, organic chicken, heritage pork. It could be beans, it could be nuts and seeds, whatever that is, you need to make sure that you are focusing on high quality protein at each meal. Right, truth number 3, make sure that you're focusing on high quality fats and oils. So you want to trade out all of those hydrogenated things like margarine, worst thing to happen to health ever. Get rid of it, no margarine. But things like coconut oil, olive oil, avocado oil, and grass-fed ghee are wonderful sources of fat, and you want to make sure that you have plenty of them. As a child of the 90s, I was raised in the low-fat time, and we're coming to find that fat is essential. In fact, there are essential fats, but make sure you have high-quality fats. Truth number 4, carbs are not the enemy. Since the beginning of the 2000s, carbs have been demonized. Now, I will put an asterisk on this and say the type of carb does matter. I'm not saying to go dive into a big loaf of bread, but we do need carbs, particularly as women, and if you're trying to balance your periods and or become pregnant, carbs are very, very important. Now, as somebody who has done a lot of low carb dieting and been successful doing keto, I appreciate the values of low carb. So let's talk about how to eat the right carbs. Now, when you look at a food and say it has a total carb of 10 grams of carbs, but it has 7 grams of fiber, what you want to do is subtract the fiber from the carbs. So you have total carbs of 10, fiber of 7, so you have a total of 3 grams of what we call net carbs. Now, with net carbs, you really want to focus on getting, if you're trying to lose weight, you want between 20 grams a day and 49, give or take. Now, if you're trying to maintain your weight, you can usually go between 50 and 75 to 100. It depends on the person. So what I tell people who are in maintenance is to go ahead and slowly increase their net carbs and see how they do and kind of see how their body responds. Things that tend to be higher in carb that are really delicious are like carrots or sweet potato, and then things that tend to be lower in net carbs are like broccoli and greens. So definitely look at net carbs, not total carbs, and you want, if you're trying to lose weight, you want that between about 20 and 49. Another reason that carbs are so important is that the fiber actually feeds our gut bacteria. And I'm going to be talking more and more about the microbiome, but this is essential for health and hormone balancing. Truth number 5, reduce sugar and focus on natural sugars. This is the hardest one for me. I'm somebody who totally has a sweet tooth. But when I do have sugar, I eat only the natural sugars. So honey, molasses, maple syrup, coconut sugar, things like dates. Oh, dates are delicious. So things like that to kind of satisfy that sweet tooth of mine. Sugar feeds inflammation. It feeds dysbiosis. It is not a good situation. It also makes our blood sugar unbalanced and further throws our other hormones out of balance or out of whack. So reducing sugar. And I get asked all the time, well, what about stevia or these no carb sugars? There's research that actually shows that it will still cause a spike in your insulin. So our digestion begins in our mouth, and as you're chewing something and tasting sweet, it is sending signals to your digestive tract and your pancreas, hey, sugar coming your way, and it will still cause a spike in insulin. Not as much as if you were eating actual sugar, but if you're working to balance your blood sugar and balance your hormones, I actually encourage people to very sparingly or not at all use those zero carb sugars. Number 6, we want to reduce our toxic exposure. It is shocking how many chemicals are used in the cultivation and preparation of our food. If you are purchasing organic, you are much less likely to be exposed to a lot of these chemicals. If you are concerned about your pocketbook, which I completely understand, head over to the environmentalworkinggroup.org or ewg.org website and download their Dirty Dozen list. These are fruits and vegetables that are most highly sprayed during their cultivation, and you want to ensure that you purchase them organic. Things like strawberries, apples, and spinach are on this list, so be sure to head over and look at that. They also have a Clean 15 list. These are fruits and vegetables that tend to have very low pesticide residues, or they don't use a lot of pesticides during their cultivation. And those you can tend to buy conventional, and you don't need to focus on organic. Right, number 7, you want to eliminate triggering foods. When I start working with a new client, the first thing I do is I take them through an elimination diet. Now with this, I help them remove the 5 top foods that tend to be reactive for people: gluten, dairy, eggs, corn, and soy. I also have other foods that I will have people remove depending on what they're struggling with and what they're working towards. I have them take those out for 2 to 3 weeks, and then we add them back in one at a time to see if their symptoms return or if they have a reaction to it. That is the best way to determine what foods are triggering for you. I highly encourage you to do that. And if you want some help, head over to my website, go to my Allie's Programs page, and sign up for a free coaching consultation with me, and we'll get you started. Number 8, whole foods are better than processed foods. Hands down. So what I tell my clients is to shop around the perimeter of the grocery store where most of the fresh food and vegetables live. Anything that's processed has had added chemicals, has been changed in some way that makes it harder for our body to digest. So whole foods, better than processed. Number 9, everything in moderation. I am not a fan of all out one way of eating and being really restrictive. I actually believe that leads to disordered eating and makes life a lot less enjoyable. So unless you're on an elimination diet or in a phase where you're really healing, I am a huge fan of moderation. I aim for 85 to 90% of the time eating really clean, and 10% of the time I allow myself more leeway. Now I will say over the years, my leeway has become a lot more healthy than it used to be, but I still allow myself to enjoy those things. And I strongly encourage my clients to do the same. Number 10, you have to get your mind right. This is, of all of the 10 truths, the hardest one. Now, I work also with my clients on emotional eating. This is something that I am currently working with as well. And I've had a lot of people say, well, I'm not an emotional eater. When I'm sad, I don't want to eat. I'm like, but when you come home, do you think, oh gosh, I need a glass of wine? Or, oh, I'm going to just sit on the couch and eat ice cream? Or at the end of a hard day, do you find yourself turning to food? That is an example of emotional eating. If all of a sudden something happens and all of a sudden you are hangry, you were fine a moment ago and now you're hungry, that is your body saying, I want food to help buffer me from feeling what is happening. Now, I have a colleague who says that snacking is always an emotional event. I don't necessarily agree. We've talked about absolutes, but I do think that if you're heading for a snack and you just had a really robust meal, that it warrants stopping and asking yourself, why am I eating this? Am I really hungry, or am I hungry for connection? Am I needing a break? What is coming up for me? And I work with my clients on this all the time. Again, if you want some support, head over to my website, nursegonecrunchy.com, go into Allie's programs and sign up for a free coaching consultation with me. In summation, Michael Pollan said it best: eat food, mostly plants, not too much. Now, please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. I hope that you found this helpful, and I can't wait to see you again next week. Bye for now.